Hello everyone, it's Ross, and today I have Plinky and Jan with me,
Greetings.
Hello.
and we're going to be talking about Cleric. We're going to be talking about why you should play one, some pros, maybe a few of the cons. This isn't a build guide by any means, but just a discussion. I'll be having some video clips in the background, maybe a little bit of music to set the mood. Yeah, so let's see. Hopefully everyone will learn something from this. Now, let's start off by saying or talking about why everyone should play a cleric at least once. This is a huge thing that Jan has always said to me. In specific, I know Plinky's mentioned it a few times, but it's huge to play a cleric.
Give you perspective, man. Well, if you understand how the cleric plays, then you're more able to interact with the cleric and running the party smoother.
Yeah, definitely. There's all sorts of clerics you could play. I think we're primarily hitting on the healer type,
Yeah.
healer aspect of the cleric.
So, yeah, the healer aspects, like Jan said, it gives you perspective. When when your party members are running around the corner from you and you're trying to heal them and your heal doesn't go off and they die, you're keeping up with the party. It teaches you to, when you're playing with a healer and you're not a healer, it teaches you to stick near them as well. It definitely gives you a new perspective. I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to add to that, but it's a whole new game style, gameplay. Way different than DPS or tank.
Yeah, I think it definitely teaches you patience and like not to get upset with other people because things happen and sometimes people don't listen. So you just kind of go with the flow. You do the best you can, and like Ross said, it puts it in perspective for when you're trying to heal that guy, and that guy is around the pillar, or around the corner, and you can't heal him. So that when you're not a cleric, it kind of like, oh wait, I need heals. Jump back, get near the cleric.
Well, I think it also helps kill some rather ugly habits people can have, where they think the only way to contribute to the party is killing things. It's like
True.
trapping is nice and all, but trappers usually can do a lot of damage too. Whereas healer, this teaches you can actually do a large contribution to the party, play an important role, and not worried about getting who got the most kills or who does the most damage per hit.
Yeah. So
Very true.
add on to that, just quick pointers of what you could do as a cleric. You can be a tank, you can be a healer, you can be DPS, you can be an insta killer, you can be a caster. You could do so many things with a cleric.
Oh yeah,
It's
cleric's one of the most
crazy.
versatile classes in the game, man.
Another thing too is like you definitely feel important because your adrenaline will get going when you're in a high stressful situation to your party. Trust me, it is great. At least to me, I love that part about it.
My favorite part, the buffs.
Yes,
Though I don't know, playing the with Raz last night on his bard was pretty exciting too.
with all of his buffs and healing.
Well,
um,
just with all them buffs. Though, come on, how can you say no to a class that gets both Death Ward and Faum as a standard spell?
True. Oh yeah, they're definitely buffers too, the clerics. There's a lot that goes into it. But something else I want to talk about too is what you should expect playing a cleric in a group aspect. You know, like something that always kind of bugged me for a while. It's kind of an ongoing joke in DDO, but it's always the cleric's fault. If someone drops down, it's always the cleric's fault because you are that important, part of the team. Some of the other things you should expect playing a cleric. I don't know if you guys want to add to that.
I touched on it earlier, the idea that you're going to have trouble keeping up with everybody because unless you're a melee or like a tank build cleric, Your strength's not going to be that great, and you're wearing full plates, so your jump is going to suck. You don't get any kind of mobility buffs in the tree or in the trees. And there's no cleric specific gear that lets you move faster. You don't get any like speed movement spells or anything like that. So you're going to have to do a lot of catching up, especially if you're moving with someone like a monk or an inquisitive or tally.
And don't forget tower shields as well. You get the penalty to the jump, tumble, all that good stuff with that too. So yeah, you usually run a lot slower. Like Jan said, it's hard to keep up for sure.
Also, you get lost a lot as a cleric. I know it sounds kind of strange. You know, you have a map and if you know the quest, but you'll find yourself just kind of running into off rooms while you're trying to focus on the party's health bars. It definitely is a game changer, that one.
Yes.
Well, it's because it takes an entirely different mindset. Your primary focus isn't on the map or the screen or the area like that. Your primary focus is on everybody's health bar.
It depends on party makeup too, and the way the group plays and their play style. Because if you got Zergers in your group, you're going to have a lot harder time keeping up and following around. When if you got somebody that your group does more role playing and takes their time, that aspect I think will be a lot more relaxed, a little bit easier to see where you are and in the quest and stuff.
Very true. Is there anything else we should add to that part about it? Otherwise, I think there's the big one I really want to discuss, like the big topic here is like kind of what makes the cleric fun and unique to you guys.
I got something else to add to part 2. So another thing too is I don't know if we really mentioned it, but raiding, that is huge. If you're the only healer in the raid, expect your first time, especially if you're a person that get frustrated easy, you're going to definitely get frustrated. It's going to happen. Just take it easy. Just try to do your best. Try to stay focused, because especially things like Legendary Shroud or Shroud, where people will split up and go on multiple portals. And there's all different level terrains and everything. You're going to be trying to heal someone or raise somebody, and you can't do your job because they're not near you. So just keep that in mind too. Don't let that be discouraging, because I don't know if you want to add with what you had in your experience, Ross, with hit raids.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Planky. So here's what happened to me with Cleric, and playing it, if I was to play it again, which I definitely am going to, throughout the leveling process, I had a great time, and then I got really, disappointed and upset because I wasn't doing a good job, or it wasn't as fun if you don't push the higher contents and your party's not getting damaged. It really was up in the air. But going back, knowing what I know now, I would have an absolute blast the whole entire way through. But when I got to level 30 and started doing some endgame raiding, it was very frustrating, but something just clicked, and I did not want to TR my main off of a cleric. That's what makes a cleric really fun to me, is that raiding. It's honestly, to me, more fun than a DPS, more fun than any other tune that I've ever played for raids, is being a cleric. Just stick with it if you're finding yourself being a little frustrated. It'll even itself out. It's a whole new game style.
Hopefully, but it's not for everybody.
True.
Other thing I want to add in, since we didn't touch on it at all, is with pugs, you are going to be in high demand.
Yes.
Because a dedicated healer can really make really even a pug out. Especially considering with the pug, you don't know if your party's going to have the DPS for it, or they're going to have the DCs, things like that. A decent cleric or a decent healer of any type is going to get a lot of invitations. Back when DDO was more crowded, I couldn't go run around on my cleric while waiting for the party, because I'd constantly be getting all these tells asking, do you want to join this group? Do you want to join that group? Do you want to join this? Do you want to help us with this?
Yes.
Very
So that
good
is
point.
something to expect from a cleric, is being in high demand, especially if you get good. So if you
Oh,
like
yeah.
pugging and you want to find pugs for stuff, or you want to get into a lot of pugs, learn cleric and get good at it.
And if your group isn't with you, you know, you can always put up, like Jen said, just put up an LFM, and I'm sure somebody will want to join your group. Hopefully, depending on
Freelance
time.
cleric looking for work.
Yeah.
Right.
I like it. All right, yeah. So now onto the big one here. What makes a cleric fun and unique to you guys? I don't know if you want to start us off, Plinky or Jan.
Jan can go.
I like the fact that even if you don't have the best DPS or damage build, or you don't have all the sexy gear, as a cleric, you can still make a contribution. Because I like to help. I like to support people and stuff like that. And the cleric is one of the best tools that lets me do that.
Yeah, you don't need much of anything as a cleric. Just get some healing items, some heavy armor or something, depending on the build, and just go in for it. If you're playing a healing cleric, that is.
Well, that and the cleric's adaptability, because the cleric is so adaptable, you can actually switch over and do at least a minimal job with just about any role as a cleric, except maybe trapper. And even if you take 2 levels of artificer or rogue, you can sit there and do sense traps and be a pretty darn good trapper if you need to.
Yeah.
For sure.
I
I got a lot I want to say on this part, so I don't know if you want to go first, Ross.
You have the floor, boss. You have the floor.
go for it.
Okay. To me personally, what makes the cleric fun and unique, there's all different things that makes the cleric fun and unique. It depends on the level range, it depends on group makeup, and what your role is. So let's talk about heroics. 1 to 20. Amazing turn ability to kill the undead outright. Absolutely amazing. You can go in like an animal domain, turn wolves, turn animals. You can go in an elemental domain, turn the elementals. I turned up to I think 7 guys at once at a certain point with 3 cleric past lives, and I do have some gear. This is before the gear change of like the sacred and hollow on random gen. So that to me is really fun. But once you hit epics, the hit, correct me if I'm wrong, Jan, but the hit die on the enemies greatly increase, which makes it
That's
so you can
correct.
only turn 1 if you're really good, maybe 2 guys at once in epic. So huge game changer. Epics I didn't really care for it. I actually kind of hated it. My build currently right now I have at level 30 is tank healer. I can't quite tank R1 Shroud. I have done it, but I get 2-shotted. PRR sits about 250. MRR sits about 200. AC is about 250. So not incredibly high. Have about 4k hit points in Reaper mode. Outside, obviously, the stuff drops down a little bit more. But before I had all my Reaper points, maybe about 15 to 20, I was just with one other guy in our guild, duoing R8s in the cogs. I was the tank and I was the healer. And we blazed right through because of his DPS. But really fun, not end game high end raid tank, but you could still tank and be survivable, which is amazing in my opinion. Heals are very good. Self heals, I got like 6 different things that tick on me at once. My heal in R10, I think I could heal like 500-600 on
That's
a crit
insane.
in R10. Not amazing. The druid was way better, but still very good. All right, I think I'm done with my rant. Go ahead, Ross.
I was going to point out something about turning, that it's kind of strange that you start out with Circle of Death or Wail of the Banshee, like for your turning, and then once you hit epics, it basically becomes Finger of Death.
True.
Yeah,
Finger of Death is still a good spell, though.
and yeah, that's a good point too. you can use your turning and then also be necro based, so you can insta kill a lot of things.
Destruction and slay living.
And then depending on your domain.
Thing about the cleric is, oh sorry.
Oh,
The other unique thing about the cleric is they have their own pool of resources. I mean, paladins kind of have this with the channel divinity, but clerics have the ultimate versatility with that. You can do almost anything with that channel divinity ability. You can use it for extra cures, you can use it for extra heals, you can use it to restore spell points, you can use it to raise your stats. The
And
only
that-
person who has more versatility with that sort of thing is the Bard song.
And that is based off of charisma too. So charisma and wisdom are typically the stats for cleric and con. Just a little side note.
Yeah, so charisma's for your turning, excuse me, and wisdom's for your DCs and your spell points. So if you want to boost your turning, you're going to want to maximize on charisma.
Yeah, and oh man, we could make this video so long and talk about all the different types of clerics. I wanted to keep it kind of specific towards healer, but there are so many different types or ways you can go. That's what I think makes the cleric unique. Is you can you can go necro base, you can turn, you can crowd control, you can heal, tank. I think Planky mentioned the different things you can do in the beginning of the video, but the thing that I really like is the domains. Each cleric can pick a specific domain, and the different domains, if you look them up on Wiki, do different things. They're great. And then I love the cleric because of the rating. That's what really gets me with the cleric. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys have anything else to add. Probably do. We still got some time here.
Don't forget about your deity too.
Oh yeah. Oh, you can't forget about that.
So yeah, I get the blood of life, which is daggers
He's
I'm
a role
proficient with.
worshiper.
Yeah. It gives me a nice added bonus to my hit points and stuff, so I definitely take that.
So real quick too, what are your favorite domains? I'm just curious. I know it depends on what type of cleric you're playing.
You first, Planky.
Sorry, animal domain is mine. Just for the simple fact, you get every time you do a burst or anything that uses a turn ability, everybody around you gets, if you're level 20 cleric or higher, gets 10 con. It's 1 point in con every 2 cleric levels. So I mean, 10 con for the whole party, in my opinion, is pretty big. And then being able to turn animals is a nice added boost.
Ooh, that charge too you get, it's good for keeping up with the party, I'm sure. You get like a charge ahead. Okay.
Yep. It's just like a Monk's Abundant Step. It does have a knockdown effect. The DC is based off Wisdom, I believe. Yep, Wisdom mod. So I don't really knock down guys, but I just use it to get out of trouble if I'm tanking and or catch up, like Ross said.
My favorites are fire, water, and life. The cleric domains have this awesome effect as a spellcaster that you get to use your basic cleric spell powers, which are light and or radiance and devotion, and you get to apply those to your element if you're in that domain. So if you're a fire element, you get to apply your radiant spell power to your fire damage, or your fire damage to your spell power, whichever is greater. Same thing for water, where you get to use your devotion power for your water spell power, or your water spell power for your devotion, whichever is greater. Life is because you get all the, clerics and their role as a healer. You get a whole bunch of their best spells as SLAs, which you can put metas on, and they cost almost nothing. One of the big skills you got to learn as a cleric is spell point conservation. And those SLAs you get really help with that.
Oh yeah. Nice. Any last minute things before we wrap this up?
What's your favorite domain?
I actually would go with animal domain too for the same reasons. I did go with magic because of the spell points, but yeah, I like the animal domain. All right, everybody, thank you for watching, and just stay tuned for some more videos and stuff. Hopefully, we'll do more of these videos with Planky Jan or other members. And all right, take care.
Bye. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.